Hi students, good morning to everyone. Now in this video we are going to explain redox reactions, titrations. It is also known as a volumetric analysis. Especially it is related to the practicals point of view. In board exam you have practicals, acid base titration you have, and redox titrations also you have. Okay. Now what is the definition of a titration? This is a redox titration known as simply volumetric analysis or volumetric titrations. Titration is a procedure. Titration is a procedure in which two solutions of a definite volume are allowed to react with each other of known and unknown concentrations. Out of the two solutions, one solution concentration is known and other one is unknown. With the help of a known concentration, we can predict the unknown concentration. We can determine the unknown concentration of the solution. Now here there are some terms used in titration. Let us say titrant. Titrant is that substance which is present in the solution form whose concentration we know. That is the solution whose concentration we know is a titrant. Next definition, titrate. It is a substance which is present in the dissolved state, that is in the solution form, whose concentration is unknown, that is to be determined, to be calculated. The solution whose concentration we know is a titrant. The solution whose concentration is unknown is a titrate. Next to equivalence point. Equivalence point is that point at where the number of equivalents of a titrate will be equal to the number of equivalents of a titrant and titrate. That means from the law of chemical equivalence we know how many equivalents of a titrate will be present. In the same number of equivalents of a titrate is also present, because as per law of chemical equivalence, in a given chemical reaction, each substance number of equivalents or milli equivalents will be same. Each substance, that is reactant or product, each reactant or each product number of equivalents or milli equivalents will be same. Okay. Now equivalents or milli equivalents will be same. Now the question is how to find the number of equivalents. We know in the calculation of equivalent weight or N factor, number of equivalents is equal to normality multiplied by the volume in liter. Okay. Now if the volume is given in the milliliter, we can write normality into volume in milliliter by 1000, and one more formula is there, given mass upon equivalent mass. How to find the gram equivalent weight is equal to gram molecular weight divided by what? N factor. So this is very important. So we have to calculate the equivalent weight with the help of the N factor. Molecular weight we know by the formula, and if we know the N factor, then we can find the equivalent weight. Weight is given in the question, so equivalent weight we have to calculate. So the ratio of the weight and equivalent weight will give the number of equivalents. Now come to number of milli equivalents is equal to normality into volume in milliliter. Do you know 1 equivalent is equal to 1000 milli equivalents, or 1 milli equivalent is equal to 1 by 1000 equivalent? Just like 1 liter is equal to 1000 milliliter, 1 equivalent is equal to how much? 1000 milli equivalents. Let's suppose we have acid base reaction. Acid base reaction, suppose if you know the concentration of acid and we do not know the concentration of base, or vice versa, then the equivalent point is that point where the number of equivalents of acid will be equal to the number of equivalents of a base. So number of equivalents formula, normality into volume. Okay, normality of acid into volume of acid, normality of base into volume of the base. Now here there is a formula to calculate the number of equivalents, given mass upon equivalent mass. Let's suppose this information regarding acid, which will be equal to normality into volume in ml by 1000 corresponding to base. In this question, in the given question, let's suppose weight of acid not given to you. Equivalent weight of acid we know we can find with the help of the molecular weight by N factor. So normality of a base given, volume of a base given. So normality of a base given, volume of a base given. Can we find the weight of a acid required for the neutralization? Yes. Otherwise, if the weight of acid given to you, equivalent weight we have to calculate. Normality given to you, we can find the volume of a base, or if the volume of a base is given, we can find the normality of a base. Yes or no? 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 variables. Out of these four variables, if you know any 3 variables, we can determine the 4th variable. Yes or no? In case of acid, if the weight of the base is given to you, so equivalent weight of a base we have to calculate with the help of molecular weight upon N factor. Now, normality and volume corresponding to acid will be given to you. Normality of acid and volume given to you. So this is a redox titrations. It is also known as a volumetric titrations. Titration is a procedure in which 2 definite volumes of known and unknown concentration of 2 solutions are allowed to react with each other. Okay. Now the solution whose concentration we know, that is a titrate, and the solution whose concentration is to be calculated is a titrate. Titrant, non-known concentration, titrate, unknown concentration. And the equivalent point is that point or critical point at which number of equivalents of titrate and titrant and titrate are equal. Okay. Now, in case of redox titrations, redox reactions or titrations, number of equivalents of oxidant will be equal to the number of equivalents of a reductant. Number of equivalents given mass upon equivalent mass or normality into volume in ml by 1000. Suppose if it is an oxidant information, this is the reductant information, or vice versa. Let's suppose potassium permanganate is there, oxalic acid is there. The reaction acidic medium. The reaction is taking place in acidic medium. So this is a oxidizing agent, this is a reducing agent. Okay. If the weight of oxidant is given to you, then the question will be asking whether normality or volume of the reducing agent. Otherwise, if the weight of a reducing agent is given to you, then the question will be asking you for calculate the normality or volume of the oxidizing agent. Okay. Now, end point is a point practically observed at which a physical change occurs. Physical change in the sense mostly color change. Mostly we can say color change. Are you getting my point? Now, for such purpose, we use some external substance which is known as an indicator. Indicator is an external substance added to the reaction mixture so that visual detection by color change on completion of the reaction at the end point. So reaction will be completed at the end point. To know that, we have to visually identify the color change. For such purpose, we use some indicators. There are different types of indicators: acid base indicators, redox indicators. Okay. Now here we have different types of redox titrations. Types of redox titrations. Let's suppose potassium permanganate titrations. Potassium permanganate titrations. Potassium permanganate is an important oxidizing agent. Yes or no? Potassium permanganate is an important oxidizing agent. Now in this potassium permanganate titration, let's suppose KMnO4 versus oxalic acid is given. Oxalic acid is a reducing agent. Potassium permanganate is a oxidizing agent. Now the titration between potassium permanganate versus oxalic acid. Titration between potassium permanganate versus oxalic acid. Now here, remember, potassium permanganate in acidic medium, we know the N factor of potassium permanganate in acidic medium, which is N factor 5. Oxalic acid N factor we know, which is equal to 2. We know calculation of N factors. Okay. Now here, for the balancing of equation, KMnO4, manganese oxidation number +7, it will be reduced to +2 by accepting how many electrons? 5 electrons. Okay. Now in oxalic acid, what happens? 1 mole of oxalic acid, when oxidized to carbon dioxide, it loses how many electrons? 2 electrons. It required 5 electrons. It gained 5 electrons. It loses 2 electrons. So how to equal the electrons? How to equal electrons? Here, how many electrons it will gain? 5. How many electrons it will lose? 2. If I multiply 5 with 2, that is 10. 2 with 5, that is 10. That means if you interchange the n factor in terms of moles, this n factor will be number of moles of KMnO4. This n factor will be number of moles of oxalic acid. So I am writing 2 moles of potassium permanganate will exactly react with 5 moles of oxalic acid. Just I am interchanging the n factors. Just I am interchanging the n factors. KMnO4 n factor is 5, oxalic acid n factor is 2. So this is the relation between the number of moles of potassium permanganate and oxalic acid. Are you getting my point? Let's suppose I want to calculate 1 mole of KMnO4. This is for complete titration. For complete titration, 2 moles of KMnO4 exactly required. For 2 mole KMnO4, exactly how many moles of oxalic acid is required for complete oxidation? 5 moles. So 1 mole KMnO4 if I take, so shall I write 5 by 2 moles of oxalic acid? Yes, 5 by 2 moles of oxalic acid. Otherwise, if I want to calculate number of moles of KMnO4 for the oxidation of 1 mole of a oxalic acid. If I take the 1 mole of oxalic acid, shall I write 2 by 5 moles of potassium permanganate? This is very important. Question will be given like this. How many moles of potassium permanganate will be required to oxidize 1 mole of oxalic acid in what? Acidic medium. In acidic medium. Okay? The options given like this: 5 by 2 moles. Second option, 2 by 5 moles. Third option, 2 moles. Fourth option, 5 moles. Okay? Now read the question once again. How many moles of KMnO4 will be required to oxidize? Required to complete oxidize 1 mole of a oxalic acid in acidic medium. We know 2 moles of a KMnO4 for complete oxidation. How many moles of oxalic acid required for complete oxidation? 5 moles. Okay. If 1 mole oxalic acid is given, question given, 1 mole oxalic acid is given. For 1 mole oxalic acid, how many moles of KMnO4 required? 2 by 5. That is the second option. That will be the second option. Just we have to know how many moles of equivalents will be react with how many equivalents of oxalic acid. Okay? Otherwise, you can use this formula also. Number of equivalents of KMnO4 will be equal to what? Number of equivalents of oxalic acid from the law of chemical equivalence. How to find the number of equivalents? Number of moles multiplied by n factor. How to calculate the number of equivalents? How to calculate the number of equivalents? Number of moles multiplied by what? N factor. This is also, this formula we can also use. Let's suppose number of moles KMnO4 into what is the KMnO4 n factor? 5. Number of moles of KMnO4 into 5 is equal to what is the number of moles of oxalic acid? H2C2O4 into what is the n factor of oxalic acid? That is 2. With the help of this expression also we can find the number of moles. How? Now how many moles of oxalic acid is given to you? 1 mole of oxalic acid is given to you. So 1 mole of oxalic acid is given to you. So number of moles of oxalic acid put here what? 1 into 2, 2. So how many moles of KMnO4 required? Bring the 5 towards denominator so that you will get 2 by 5 answer. You will get what? 2 by 5 answer. Okay? By using Number of equivalent concept, we can calculate the numerical. Okay. Let's suppose I have potassium permanganate versus ferrous oxalate. This is also reaction in acidic medium. In which medium? Acidic medium. Do you know what is the N factor of potassium permanganate in acidic medium? 5. Do you know what is the N factor of ferrous oxalate? It is 3. That means 1 mole KMnO4 accept 5 moles of electrons, but 1 mole of a ferrous oxalate will give 3 moles of electron. So how to equalize these electrons? Multiplying 3 here, multiplying 5 here, so that you will get, interchanging the N factor, 3 moles of potassium permanganate, 5 moles of ferrous oxalate for complete reaction. Are you getting my point? 1 mole KMnO4 accept to 5 electrons, 5 mole of electron, 3 mole will accept 3 into 5, 15 electrons, 15 mole electrons. 1 mole ferrous oxalate will give 3 mole of electron, 5 moles will give 5 into 3, 15 moles, 15 moles, 15 moles equal. Are you getting my point? From here, if you want to calculate for 1 mole KMnO4, how many moles of ferrous oxalate required? 5 by 3 moles of ferrous oxalate. Okay. Otherwise, if you want to calculate for 1 mole ferrous oxalate, how many moles of KMnO4 required? That will be 3 by 5 moles potassium per mole. Only we have to remember this relation. Okay, this relation came from N factor concept. Came from where? N factor concept. Let's suppose KMnO4 will react with ferric oxalate. Ferric, this is what? Ferric oxalate. This is what? Ferrous oxalate. Again, in acidic medium. Question is in acidic medium. Redox titration. Now, what is the N factor for KMnO4? Again, 5. Now, ferric oxalate. This is ferrous oxalate. This is ferric oxalate, where N factor will be 6. N factor will be what? 6. Okay. Now here, how the N factor will be 6? Ferric oxalate, iron will be plus 3, oxidized to carbon dioxide. Okay. Now here N factor is equal to iron oxidation number plus 3. So there is no change in the iron oxidation number. Carbon oxidation number changes from plus 3 to where? Plus 4. So change will be what? 1. But per mole of a ferric oxide, there are how many carbon atoms will be there? 6. 6 into 1? 6. This is the N factor for ferric oxalate. Okay, interchanging the coefficients, shall I write 6 moles of a potassium permanganate is required, exact required for the oxidation of 5 moles of ferric oxalate. Yes or no? So this is the relation between potassium permanganate versus ferric oxalate. This is relation between potassium permanganate versus ferrous oxalate. Let's suppose I have potassium dichromate titrations. Now here dichromate ion Cr2O7 minus 2. Cr2O7 minus 2. If you know the balancing of a half reaction, well and good. Otherwise, only by changing oxidation number. Per mole of the dichromate accepting how many moles of electron? 6 moles. So here N factor will be 6. Otherwise, change in oxidation number. Here plus 6, there plus 3. Change will be 3. Into number of such chromium atoms will be 2. So the N factor is 6. Let's suppose the question is potassium dichromate K2Cr2O7 ferrous sulfate. Let's suppose. Now, what is the N factor for potassium dichromate in acidic medium? 6. Ferrous sulfate N factor will be only 1 because ferrous ion in acidic medium oxidizes to what? Ferric ion by loss of 1 electron. So N factor will be 1. So interchanging the N factor so that you will get 1 mole of a potassium dichromate, 6 moles of ferrous sulfate. 6 moles of ferrous sulfate. Are you getting my point? Let's suppose potassium dichromate versus oxalic acid. Let's suppose here what is the N factor here? 6. What is the N factor here? 2. That means cross multiplying 2 moles of potassium dichromate, 6 moles of oxalic acid. Otherwise, if I write 1 mole K2Cr2O7, on the right side shall I write 3 moles of H2C2O4? Okay? Now, important one is the iodine titrations. Iodine is a mild oxidizing agent. Now, it can act as an oxidizing substance. I2 plus 2 electron gives 2I minus. Suppose in the presence of a strong oxidizing agent, iodide ion act as a good reducing agent also, which easily undergoes oxidation to give I2. So, in the reverse reaction, if you write reverse reaction, 2I minus gives I2 plus 2 electron. So, this is a reduction, this is an oxidation reaction. This is which reaction? Oxidation reaction. What is the definition of oxidation reaction? Loss of electrons. Loss of electrons is called oxidation, and the substance which is undergoing, which is oxidized, is called a reducing agent. And the gaining of electrons is called reduction. The substance which is undergoing reduction or reducing is called an oxidizing substance. Okay. Now, in iodine titration, we use starch as an indicator. When starch combined with iodine, it will give deep blue color due to complex formation at the end point. Okay. Now, iodine titrations are divided into 2 types: iodimetry, iodometry. Iodimetry titrations, these titrations are directly involved with I2. Directly involved with I2. That means we have iodine, we have thiosulfate. Thiosulfate is a reducing agent. Iodine is a good oxidizing agent. Iodine acts as a good oxidizing agent. So thiosulfate is a reducing agent. So directly we are using iodine with a suitable reducing agent. Okay, in which iodine get reduced to iodide ions. Sulfate ion get oxidized to sulfate ion. Hydrogen sulfide get oxidized to sulfur. Stannous ion get oxidized to stannic ion, where I2 get reduced to iodide ion. Okay. Number 2, iodometry titration. In this iodometry titration, an oxidizing agent first of all is allowed to react with iodide salt. Iodide salt. Let's suppose I have potassium iodide salt here. In this potassium iodide salt, I am allowing some oxidizing agent to react with potassium iodide. Okay. Now we know iodide ion is a good reducing agent which can easily undergo oxidation in the presence of a strong oxidizing. It is oxidizing agent cupric sulfate, okay, which oxidizes the potassium iodide into iodine, is itself reduced to cuprous. Copper plus 2 here copper plus 1. Do you know what is the N factor of Cu plus 2 here? Change in oxidation state is 1. So the important one is the N factor for cupric sulfate is 1. This is very important. Okay. Now come to chlorine, oxidizes potassium iodide to iodine. Bromine can also oxidize the potassium iodide into iodine. Even ferric ion is also a good oxidant which oxidizes the iodide ion into iodine, itself reduced to ferrous ion. Okay. And one more important thing is the hydrogen peroxide. Hydrogen peroxide is also a good oxidizing agent which oxidizes the iodide ion into iodine. In all these reactions, what happens? Iodine is liberated. The liberated iodine is now treated with the standard solution of HiPO. This is the standard solution of HiPO, sodium thiosulfate. Sodium thiosulfate. Once again, iodine titrations. Iodine acts as a mild oxidizing agent and also a good reducing agent. Okay, in the presence of In the presence of a strong oxidizing agent, it acts as a reducing agent. Okay. Iodine titrations are two types. Iodimetry means directly iodine treated with some suitable reducing agents. Iodometry means indirectly. First of all, we have to take the iodide salt which containing the I- ions. These I- ions are first of all oxidized to I2 with a suitable oxidizing agent. Let's suppose cupric sulfate. Chlorine is a good oxidizing agent, bromine and ferric ions, and hydrogen peroxide. After that, these iodide ions, these iodide ions, when they are converted into suitable component I2, then a suitable solution, that is a standard solution, that is a hypo Na2S2O3 treated with iodine. Okay, to get sodium iodide, sodium tetrathionate. Now here, how many moles of hypo? 2 moles of hypo. How many moles of iodine? 1 mole of. This is a balanced stoichiometric equation. Okay, balanced stoichiometric equation. Now here, what is the? This is hypo. What is the hypo? Sodium thiosulfate pentahydrate. Actually, this is the Na2S2O3 5H2O. This is known as a hypo. Otherwise, we can simply use Na2S2O3. Okay. Now this standard solution hypo, whose concentration and volume we know. Okay. With the help of hypo, we can estimate the volume of iodine or weight of iodine. Okay. Now what is the N factor of hypo? 1. How? Oxidation number of sulfur changes from +2 to where? +2.1. Change will be 0.5 per sulfur atom. There are 2 sulfur atoms. What is the N factor for iodine? 2. How? Iodine oxidation number changes from 0 to -1. Change is 1 per atom. There are 2 atoms are there. Okay. That's why this N factor written here in the number of moles. This N factor is written in the number of moles. Okay. Now here in this reaction, the key concept is the number of equivalents. Key concept is the number of equivalents. Let's suppose how many number of equivalents of copper sulfate is there? Equal to the number of equivalents of I2. The number of equivalents of I2 will be equal to the number of equivalents of hypo. Once we know the number of equivalents of hypo, we can calculate the number of equivalents of iodine. Once we know the number of equivalents of iodine, we can calculate the number of equivalents of copper sulfate. Are you getting my point? If the number of equivalents of copper sulfate we know, then we can find the number of equivalents of hypo indirectly. Otherwise, if we know the number of equivalents of hypo, we can calculate the number of equivalents of copper sulfate. From that number of equivalents, we can find the weight of the copper sulfate. Are you getting my point? That means number of equivalents of copper sulfate will be equal to number of equivalents of I2 will be equal to number of equivalents of hypo. So here, once we know the number of equivalents hypo, we can relate to number of equivalents of copper sulfate. Otherwise, if we know the number of equivalents of copper sulfate, we can find the number of equivalents of hypo. So number of equivalents of copper sulfate, select W by gram equivalent weight of copper sulfate. How to find the number of equivalents of hypo? Normality volume in ml by 1000. This is regarding hypo. This is regarding weight of the copper sulfate. Are you getting my point? Okay. If the weight of copper sulfate, do you know what is the N factor of copper sulfate here? Copper +2 changes to copper +1. So the N factor is 1. So copper sulfate N factor is 1. N factor we know. So we can find the equivalent weight. How? Gram equivalent weight is equal to gram molecular weight upon what? N factor. Upon what? N factor. Okay. Now, here what is the hypo N factor? Suppose if the hypo normality given. What given? Hypo normality given. or hypomolarity given to you. Hypo what given to you? Molarity. Do you know relation between molarity, normality, molarity multiplied by n factor? Yes. Okay. What is the n factor for hypo? 1. So normality is equal to molarity into 1. So normality, molarity is same for hypo. Is same for hypo. Don't be confused. Here if you want to take the molarity or normality, no need to be worry about it. Because normality, molarity will be equal only for this equation. Because where the hypo n factor will be what? 1. Okay. Now come to some problems regarding the redox titrations. A 3.4 grams of a sample of a hydrogen peroxide solution contains X% H2O2 by mass. Okay. Required X ml of a potassium permanganate solution for the complete oxidation under acidic medium. Then find the molarity of the potassium permanganate solution. Now here KMnO4 oxidizes the hydrogen peroxide, okay, into oxygen. The sample weight given 3.4 grams, the percentage X% by mass. That means, what is the meaning of X% H2O2 by mass? What is the meaning? 100 grams H2O2 contains X, 100 grams H2O2, 100 gram sample contains 3.4 grams of a hydrogen peroxide. But actual sample given to you what? 3.4 grams. In 3.4 grams of a sample, how many grams of X grams? Okay, 3.4 grams of a sample contains how many grams? Unitary method. So, what is the weight of hydrogen peroxide? Unitary method. 3.4 into X by 100. Okay, 3.4 into X by 100. So, weight of H2O2 we got. Now come to XML KMnO4 required. Now, do you know, just now I told you, number of equivalents of potassium permanganate will be equal to what? Number of equivalents of hydrogen peroxide. Now, what is the number of equivalents formula? Normality into volume by 1000. Again the number of equivalents formula, weight upon gram equivalent weight. Okay. Now do you know H2O2 get oxidized to O2. Okay. Now oxygen state -1, here 0. So what is the n factor here? Change will be 1, but there are 2 atoms are there, so that n factor of H2O2 is 2. Now what is the normality? That is to be find out. What is the volume? XML by 1000 is equal to, what is the weight of the H2O2? 3.4 into X by gram equivalent weight. Gram equivalent weight is equal to gram molecular weight upon n factor. Yes. What is the molecular weight of H2O2? 34. Because molar mass of H2 32, H2 2 and O2 32. 32 plus 2 34. Okay. Divided by n factor is 2. That is 17. Okay. Are you getting my point? So I am writing here 70. Now x will get cancelled. 17 ones are 17 twos are will cancel. Okay. Are you getting my point? So x is equal, normality is equal to what? Weight of the just weight. Now, number of equivalents of KMnO4 equal to number of equivalents of H2O2. Number of equivalents, normality volume by 1000. Okay, W by GW, it is also number of equivalents. Okay, why I am taking normality? Because the question is asking the molarity. That's why I am taking in terms of normality. Normality into volume XML by 1000. What is the weight of the H2O2? 3.4 into X by 100 into 1 by, what is the gram equivalent weight? Gram molecular weight by n factor, that is the molecular weight 34, H2O2 because H22, O2 32, 32 plus 2, 34 by 2, that is 17. Okay. Here 2 zeros gets cancelled. This will be go to 0.2 table. Okay. So x will gets cancelled. So normality you got what? 2. Normality you got what? 2. Do you know the relation between normality and molarity? KMnO4 normality 5 times of the molarity. Yes or no? Because the N factor for KMnO4 is 5. So I have to calculate the molarity, that is the normality by 2. What is the normality you got here? 2. 2 by 5, that is 0.4. 0.4 moles per liter. This is the KMnO4 molarity. KMnO4 molarity. Now come to next question. KMnO4 reacts with oxalic acid as follows. Here, potassium permanganate. Potassium is a spectator, so that's why you are not writing here. Permanganate oxidizes the oxalate into carbon dioxide and itself reduces to Mn+2 in acidic medium. Now here, KMnO4 volume given 20 ml and molarity given 0.1, which is equivalent to same concept. First of all, find the number of milli equivalents of potassium permanganate. Number of milli equivalents is equal to normality into volume in milliliter. Yes. Normality, molarity into N factor. Normality, molarity into N factor. Okay, N factor into molarity. Now, what is the molarity given to you? 0.1. What is the N factor for KMnO4? 5. Because in acidic medium, manganese +7 reduced to +2, so the change will be 5. So that's why N factor is 5. Into what is the volume of the solution given to you? 20 ml. So that you have how many milli equivalents? 10 milli equivalents of KMnO4 you have. Now see in each option where the 10 milli equivalents of oxalic acid is present. Do you know oxalic acid N factor? Again +3 changes to +4, so change is 1. So 2 carbons are there. So oxalic acid N factor is 2. Now tell me milli equivalents of oxalic acid in first option. What is the normal molarity? 0.25 into N factor into volume, that is 120. Okay. So 0.5 to the 50, 0.5 into 120, so that you have 60. Okay. Now in the second option, number of milli equivalents of oxalic acid is equal to 150 into 0.1 into what? 2. So 0 gets cancelled. 15 to the 30 milli equivalents. Come to option number 3. Number of milli equivalents of oxalic acid is equal to molarity 0.2 into N factor is 2. Okay. Now here 50 into 0.2, so that you have 10 milli equivalents. Last option, oxalic acid milli equivalents is equal to 50 into 0.2 into here what? 2. So 0 point gets cancelled. 5 2s are 10 2s are 20. Now tell me in which option there are 10 milli equivalents of oxalic acid? Option number 3. That means number of milli equivalents of potassium permanganate is equal to what? Number of milli equivalents of oxalic acid. This is the law of chemical equivalence. Law of chemical equivalence. Okay. Next problem. Find the N factor of the KHC2O4 dot H2C2O4 dot 2H2O when it acts as a reducing agent and when it acts as an acid. Now here KHC2O4 dot H2C2O4 dot 2H2O. Now when it acts as a reducing agent, when it acts as a what? Reducing agent. Reducing agent which easily undergoes what? Oxidation. Now here in this what happens? Carbon oxidation number +3. So which will undergo oxidation into +4, that is carbon dioxide. That means here this is oxalate. Here also oxalate is there. So it will be undergoes oxidation. It will be undergoes oxidation. So by loss of 2 electrons and 2. Total how many electrons per mole of a species it will lose during the reducing agent, during the oxidation? 4. That means here equivalent weight is equal to molecular weight by n factor is what? 4. So the question is, what is the n factor? N factor is 4. So we know how to calculate the molar mass of the species. Okay. Now don't consider this water. Okay. Now when it acts as an acid, what is its equivalent weight? Now here molecular weight by n factor. It is when it acts as a what? Reducing agent. Same compound during acid-base reaction. Let's suppose this is used as an acid. What happens? It will give only 1 H plus. From here, it will give how many H plus? 2 H plus. Now water is not considered. Okay, water is neutral. So total how many H plus ions releases per mole of acid? 3. So the basicity will be 3. So I am writing molecular weight by 3. So molecular weight by 3. Here molecular weight by 4. Remember, same compound. When it is acting as a reducing agent, the n factor is taken as a 4. N factor is taken as a 4. When it acts as an acid, n factor is taken as a 3. N factor is taken as a 3. This is very important. Okay. Now come to next question. When 2.5 grams of a sample of a Morse salt react completely with 50 ml n by 10 normality 1 by 10 km minimum for solution in acidic medium. Then find the percentage purity. Now first of all, what is the Morse salt? Ferrous, ammonium sulfate. Ferrous sulfate, ammonium sulfate. Ferrous ammonium sulfate is known as a Morse salt. FeSO4, NH4 taken twice, SO4, 6H2O. This is called what? Morse salt. In the market, the ferrous ammonium sulfate is referred as a Morse salt, whose gram molecular weight will be 392 per mole. 392. This is very important. Okay. Now come to same concept. First of all, find the mass of Morse salt which is exactly required for the reaction of 50 ml of 1 by 10 normal KOH, KMnO4. Okay. Now, in this reaction, ferrous ion oxidation number is what? +2. That means in Morse salt, especially the ferrous ion get oxidized to what? Ferric ion. So, what is the N factor for Morse salt? 1. What is the N factor for KMnO4 in acidic medium? 5. We know. Okay. Now, tell me number of equivalents of Morse salt is equal to what? Number of equivalents of potassium permanganate. How to find the number of equivalents? Weight upon gram equivalent weight. How to find the number of equivalents? Normality, volume in milliliter divided by what? 1000. What is the W? That is to be find out. Let's suppose. What is the gram equivalent weight? Gram molecular weight by N factor. N factor is 1, so need not to write. So that's why I am writing only 392. Is equal to, what is the normality given to you? KMnO4 1 by 10. Okay, multiplied by, what is the volume of KMnO4 given? 50. Okay, divided by what? 1000. Divided by what? 1000. Okay. Now it will be 5 into 10 raised to minus 3. So W is equal to 392 into 5 into 10 raised to minus 3. So approximately, not approximately, exactly 1.92 grams. You have Morse salt weight. Now actual weight, sample weight you have how much? 2.5 grams. But out of the 2.5 grams, only how much of the sample will react here? Only 1.92. That means the remaining weight will be impurity. So how to calculate the percentage of purity? W reacted, W weight given multiplied by 100. Otherwise you can calculate with the unitary method also. Okay. Now 1.92 grams of a sample, 2.5 grams of actual sample, the reacted mass is 1.92. Okay. Now what is the W reacted? 1.92. What is the actual weight given to you? 2.5 multiplied by 100. Approximately I think 78.4. So you have the option number 3. Okay. Simple unitary method is there. 1.92 grams just wait. 2.5. 2.5 gram sample, actually exactly how much of more salt is present? In 100 grams, how many grams of more salt will be present? Unitary method 1.92 into 100 by 2.5. If you solve this one, again you will get 78.4. Okay. Next, one more question. 6 into 10 to 10 raised to minus 3 moles of your potassium dichromate react completely with 9 into 10 raised to minus 3 moles of X plus N ions to give Cr plus 3 XO3 minus. Find the value of N. This is a integer based question. Okay. First of all, write the equation. This is a dichromate ion or potassium dichromate which oxidizes X plus N ion into what? XO3 minus ion is itself reduced to what? Plus 3. Concept here, number of equivalents of dichromate will be equal to the number of equivalents of what? X plus N. X plus N. So I am writing number of equivalents of dichromate is equal to what? Number of equivalents of X plus N. This is the law of chemical equivalence. How to calculate the number of equivalents? Number of moles into N factor. What is the N factor of dichromate? 6. How? Plus 6 changes to plus 3. So for chromium plus 3 there are 2 chromiums, so N factor will be 6. Into how many moles of dichromate will be there? 6 into 10 raised to minus 3 will be equal to. Now what is the N factor here? Here oxidation number of X is plus 5, so change become 5 minus N. Okay, number, this is the N factor for X plus N. Now how many moles will be there? 9 into 10 raised to minus 3. Okay, so 10 raised to minus 3 gets cancelled. Okay, now here you have 3 table, 3 2s are, 3 3s are, again 3 2s are. So 4 is equal to 5 minus N. So N is equal to 5 minus 4, that is equal to 1. N is equal to 5 minus 4, that is equal to 1. Now next problem. A mixture of sodium hydrogen oxalate and potassium hydrogen oxalate oxalic acid required equal volumes of 0.2 normal KMnO4 and 0.12 normal NaOH separately. Then find the moles ratio of these two substances. Okay, let's suppose number of moles of sodium hydrogen oxalate X, number of moles of potassium hydrogen oxalate in oxalic acid, let's suppose Y. Now there are two different types of reactions. Number one, redox titration, because we are using KMnO4. This is a oxidizing agent, so these two act as a reducing agent. In this reduction, what happens? It will undergo oxidation. Okay, it will also undergo oxidation into carbon dioxide. So N factor 4, here N factor 2, here N factor is 5. The concept is law of chemical equivalence. Number of equivalents of KMnO4 it will be equal to number of equivalents of sodium hydrogen oxalate and potassium hydrogen oxalate oxalic acid. Number of equivalents is equal to normality into volume in liters. Normality given to you KMnO4 0.2. Now number of equivalents is equal to number of moles into n factor. N factor is 2. Number of moles is x. 2 into x. Number of equivalents is equal to number of moles into n factor, that is 4 into y. So x plus 2y is equal to 0.1 v liter, equation number 1. Now same substance again reacting with sodium hydroxide 0.12 normal in separate reaction. So this is a acid base reaction, sodium hydroxide n factor 1. Now in this acid base titration, so here acidic hydrogens are 1, so basicity 1, n factor 1. Here acidic hydrogens are 2 plus 1, 3, so here n factor is 3. Same law of chemical equivalence, number of equivalents of NaOH will be equal to the number of equivalents of sodium hydrogen oxalate plus number of equivalents of potassium hydrogen oxalate oxalic acid. Here number of equivalents of NaOH is equal to normality 0.12 into volume, let's suppose V liter, because in both the cases volume is same volume. Okay. Now number of equivalents of sodium hydrogen oxalate is equal to number of moles into n factor is 1, number of moles is x, so x into 1 x. Here number of moles is equal to number of equivalents given to you, number of moles multiplied by the n factor. Number of moles is y, n factor is 3, so 3y. So we have two equations, two unknown values. By solving this, we have x value 0.06 volume, y value 0.02 volume. The ratio is the question. Find the moles ratio. So moles ratio will be 6 by 2, that is 3 by 1, that is 3 is to 1. So this is the first option. Sorry, fourth option. Now, one more problem is there. Small a grams mass of sodium hydrogen oxalate required to neutralize the 100 ml of 0.2 molar NaOH, and B grams of the same substance will require to reduce the 100 ml of a 0.2 molar KMnO4 in acidic medium. Find the mass ratio. Here mass X A gram, here mass B gram, the relation between A and B. Again the question is acid base reaction and redox reaction. Now the reaction between sodium hydroxide and sodium hydrogen oxalate, the n factor is 1. So number of equivalents will be equal. Number of equivalents is equal to normality into volume by 1000. Normality 0.2, molar normality in case of NaOH will be same. So normality or molarity volume by 1000. Here number of equivalents is equal to number of moles into n factor cellulite. Number of moles given mass upon equivalent mass, given mass upon molar mass, given mass A grams. So I am writing the gram molecular weight because in both the cases gram molecular weight will be same. So the ratio, so they will get cancelled. That's why I am writing gram molecular weight as it is. Okay, equation 1. A is the weight of the sodium hydrogen oxalate gram and GMW gram molecular weight. Come to here. This is a redox reaction. N factor of KMnO4 we know 5. Sodium hydrogen oxalate, here N factor is 2 because oxalate ion undergo oxidation into carbon dioxide. Again the law of chemical equivalence. Okay. Now number of equivalents is equal to normality into volume by 1000. What is the normality? Molarity given to you. So molarity into N factor, normality into volume 100 ml by 1000 is equal to, here number of equivalents is equal to number of moles into N factor 2, number of moles given mass upon molar mass, given mass B, molar mass I am writing as it is. Because in both the cases same compound, that's why gram molecular weight will be cancelled out when we take the ratio. So equation 1 divided by equation 2, so you have the ratio 4:1, that is A is equal to 4 into B. First option A is equal to B, incorrect. Second option is also incorrect. Third option is also incorrect. So answer become none of these. Answer become what? None of these. Okay. Now, in next problem, in an ionometric estimation of the following reaction, the following reactions are occur. So, cupric ion is a oxidizing agent which oxidizes iodide ion into iodine and itself reduces to cuprous ion plus 1. Okay. Now next, the so liberated iodine was titrated with the standard solution of hypo Na2H2O3. We know in iodometric titration. Now the question is 0.12 moles copper sulfate was added to the excess of Ki solution. Ki solution nothing but the iodide ion solution. So that I2 liberated, which is titrated with the hypo solution. Now the hypo solution volume is given to you. Now find the molarity of the hypo solution. Now from the law of chemical equivalence, number of equivalents of copper sulfate or copper plus 2 will be equal to number of equivalents of I2 liberated will be equal to number of equivalents of hypo required. Yes or no? Yes or no? No. How to find the number of equivalents of copper sulfate? Weight upon gram equivalent weight. This is regarding copper sulfate. Okay? This is regarding what? Copper sulfate. How to find the number of equivalents of hypo in terms of normality, volume? Now, what is the weight of the now this is the number of equivalents. Number of equivalents we can already number of moles given to you. So simply what we can write, n factor into number of moles. What is the n factor here? Cu plus 2 reduced to Cu plus 1. So the n factor is equal to what? 1. So number of equivalents is equal to number of moles, that is 0.12 multiplied by the n factor. Are you getting my point? So this is the number of equivalents of copper sulfate. Now this is the number of equivalents of hypo. Remember, what is the volume of hypo solution given to you? That is 120 ml. Okay, divided by what? 1000. Divided by what? 1000. So 10 gets cancelled. 2 zeros, 2 decimals will be cancelled. 12 cancel. So normality is equal to what? 1. Do you know what is the n factor of hypo? Hypo n factor is again 1 because plus 2 changes to plus 2.5. So change will be 0.5. For one sulfur atom, there are 2 sulfur atoms. So hypo n factor is equal to 1. So normality is equal to molarity into n factor. We know relation in concentration terms. So normality equal to molarity. So molarity is equal to what? 1. That is moles per liter. Once again, now the cupric ion oxidizes iodide ion into iodine. The so liberated iodine titrated with standard solution of hypo. So number of equivalents of copper plus 2 ions equal to number of equivalents of I2 will be equal to number of equivalents of hypo. This is the law of chemical equivalence. Now number of equivalents of copper sulfate, number of moles into n factor, number of moles given to you 0.12. What is the n factor for copper sulfate here? The change in oxidation number is what? 1. So only one atom is there, 1 into 1, so 1. Now number of equivalents of I2, it is an intermediate, and finally number of equivalents of hypo, normality into volume in ml by 1000. So normality we got 1. The relation between molarity and normality, in case of hypo, n factor is equal to 1 during this equation. So during this reaction, so the normality molarity both are equal. So answer will be 1.